Hi, I'm a youth and a student here at Foothill College, and I've been involved with STEM things here on campus for about a year now.
So my name is Harini. I'm an incoming freshman at Foothill, and I'm interested in all things STEM. Could each of you go around and introduce yourselves?
Sure, Ron Green, the Dean of Fine Arts and Communication.
Aaron Cornmeagle, the Dean of Business and Social Sciences.
And I'm Zach Semblin, the acting dean of the STEM division here at Foothill, also math faculty.
Okay, so today we're talking about emerging technologies. So would you guys like to introduce what exactly that is and how it started here at Foothill?
Sure. We are in initial phases still of what we are calling the Emerging Technologies Institute. It began with an effort of exploring virtual reality in the educational setting and has now evolved over time into a much more wide-spanning realm of topics. We have identified initially 7 particular technologies, but not limited to, that we believe can affect not just society, but also education overall.
Great job.
So how do you guys think that the Emerging Technologies Institute will impact each of your divisions?
I think it gives faculty a space to try out these new technologies and see how they can integrate them into their current classes. And potentially, in some areas, develop whole classes around these existing tech or these new technologies and figuring out ways that we can help students get jobs in the field and or use them in whatever career path they're hoping to enter into.
For the students that are working with it, because we have some in my division, they're gaining some excellent experience right now, so that when they're leaving, they can start getting jobs, at least with some kind of introductory experience. They can go into that and say, hey, I've experimented with this, and I think it just kind of gives them a little bit of an edge.
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting things about these emerging technologies is that they're also multidisciplinary.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, how do you think that Foothill is pushing forward, supporting that it's being multidisciplinary in the sense that we have very, I feel like, segmented just departments right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of students are like, for example, a philosophy student is starting to venture into the field of AI and talking about that. So how do we support them learning more about that in a way which introduces them to the STEM division here at Foothill?
Yeah, I would say that this is the place where these things should start happening. Cross-disciplinary, these technologies don't just affect STEM, they affect really everything. And so, part of the vision here is to give students opportunities that may not necessarily be in STEM fields and have them explore technology that can benefit them and their studies that they are interested in. So you mentioned AI is one particular topic that's going to affect really everything that we are going to see moving forward. We even have an exploratory group right now looking to form a AI learning community, which will be administration, faculty, students, you name it, where we can all get to have the chance to explore and learn more about how AI can be used as a beneficial tool in education, as an example.
Well, I would also say that when students are working with this, like, it's not just the computer application or the scientific part of it. There's creativity that goes into designing that experience. So I think that that's where some of the work between the divisions is going to be occurring.
And then from the perspective of my division, the social impact that these technologies can have, and making sure that the STEM students, the art students, also think of the ramifications of society for implementing these technologies and how we can do so in the most right way to benefit everybody.
I'll just add, I think it is really important for students that aren't STEM majors to have these opportunities. it gives them an advantage. Like when they go off and get jobs, they have experience doing something that maybe another student hadn't had. We have been also setting up, for instance, on the creative aspect, how can you bridge music with STEM? Everyone loves music and everyone can identify with music. And if you can get students that are interested in one particular topic, but then expose them to some of these STEM related parts of those topics, I think it will go a long way for their educational journeys.
Definitely. So another thing that you talked about was the VR lab that you had. So what was the original vision for that, and where do you think it is now, and where do you see it going moving forward?
So when we first started exploring the virtual reality as a potential tool in education, a little over a year ago, we did not really know where it was going to go. People just got some headsets, they formed a group, and we started exploring what can we do. So we do have a room, this VR lab, as we're calling it, right around the corner from where we're sitting now. And we have some higher end VR machines in there. A lot of the machines that we've handed out to employees here are on the lower end because they're a little cheaper, but they're also a good way to learn how to use the device. So, once people feel pretty comfortable using these devices and their capabilities, that room is designed to have the better working devices, the higher end ones that do more, right? That we can actually go and do things with. So part of it is a space where instructors can come in with their students for maybe part of a lesson in a lecture one day or whatever, and have a smaller group of students explore a virtual reality setting that is relevant to their discipline that you would never be able to experience otherwise in an educational setting. So that's one part of it. Another part of it is to give not just faculty, but everybody else that works in this district the opportunity to explore how it could benefit their jobs. As an example, we were in there last week with some of the district police looking at potentially having the opportunity to do some training for the police officers on campus in virtual reality. So it doesn't just have to be for the faculty, it can really reach all parts of our district. But that's our space where we can actually go physically in there and put on the headsets.
We also have an additional space in my division, the Idea Lab. That's the Creative Arts Computer Lab. And so we've been teaching VR classes in there, and we have Unity software that students use in that lab. Those are all high-end machines as well.
So can you tell me a little bit about the connection between the Fine Arts Division and the STEM Division when it comes to VR?
Yeah, well, I think it's an interesting sort of partnership, and it completely makes sense. As I was saying before, you need the creative part so that you can design these things, these assets, these environments, but then underlying that, you've got the computer programming aspect. And the students who are working, I think in either one of those two spaces, the science or the arts, really would benefit from some knowledge in the other. Their skills would go further. They would be able to do more with what they were working with if they had knowledge in the other area. So we're designing, faculty are designing a joint certificate. And so students will be able to take some courses in both of those areas and be able to experiment and have experiences in both areas. And in the end, they will have a richer experience.
Yeah, and it's an opportunity for students to explore some of these things that they probably would have not necessarily done. For instance, a computer science major who's focused on programming languages and whatnot might not have ever thought, hey, let's go take a virtual reality class in design in the creative arts. And perhaps just that one opportunity leads them down a whole path of interest that they would have never had. And now you have the computer skills combined with the creative skills, and that in the job market, that's a really good combination to have.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So another another event that we have on campus is the Business Innovation Challenge. So I was wondering, could you introduce what that is and how that could be very powerful for students to maybe explore these emerging technologies and utilize them in projects of their own?
Sure. So the Business Innovation Challenge is an annual event that's put on by Professor Liu in our business department. It's a series of workshops where students learn how to implement ideas that they might have from ideation, and then create a project that is a business solution to a social issue that we have. And so there's a series of workshops that students go through. They work with Professor Liu and other faculty. They develop a business idea, and then they work to implement it. And then the final presentation is presented to the campus community, and the community votes, and then the finalists go in front of our Shark Tank of experts and pitch their ideas, and then winners are selected and there's cash prizes at the end. So how I see our Business Innovation Challenge integrating with our different groups here in the STEM division is around creating prototypes. So if a student, for example, has an app that for social services or something like that can work with students in the STEM division to create a kind of a mock-up of the app. It could be working with some design students on something that they could rapidly prototype and 3D print as a product, a physical product that they might be trying to create. So there are lots of opportunities for students in the Business Innovation Challenge to integrate into these centers and work with the students there and have some cross-division collaborations.
Okay, I think that's all the questions we have for you. Thank you for your time, and this was really fun.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.